everyone, and good afternoon. I'm Zhang from Nanjing University, and welcome to our presentation of towards the theoretical backed and practical framework for selective object-sensitive point analysis. And this is joint work with Longlong, Yifei, Minxue, and Xuandong, also from Nanjing University. So I introduce our work following this outline. I'll first talk about the background and then move on to the key insights and the framework. And next, I'll talk about the implementation and evaluation. So point analysis basically determines which objects are viable point to at runtime. And it has many clients such as program understanding, program application, protection, and security analysis. It has been implemented and integrating many existing static analysis tools like Tile, Suit, Dupe, and Voila. So a precise and efficient point analysis will benefit all the clients and all the tools. So context sensitivity is basically known as a fundamental techniques for improving analysis precision. It distinguishes calling context for each method to prevent the merge of different point values. But here's an illustrative example. We have a class named box, and it has a method named ID, which directly returns the parameter O. And in the main method, we have the two objects, O1 and O2, also two boxes, B1 and B2. And next, we call the ID method twice. So this is basically the point flows. And on the context insensitivity, since context of method ID are not distinguished, so the parameter O of ID will point to both the two objects, O1 and O2, and as well as for the two variables, R1 and R2, causing imprecision. And on the context sensitivity, here we mainly refer to the object sensitivity. And we distinguish the method ID by its calling context. And you can see here that the O is replicated under different contexts, so we can have the precise results. But context sensitivity, while it can significantly improve the analysis precision, it also introduces heavy analysis overhead, especially when applied to large-scale programs. So selective context sensitivity approaches are proposed, and its main key site is to eliminate redundant context when it's not helpful to analysis precision, so it can improve efficiency while retaining most of the analysis precision. And existing work try to eliminate the context of different program elements, such as the methods and the variables and heap objects. And among them, the application on heap objects demonstrate an extremely high efficiency gain and with little precision loss. So we believe a clear theoretical foundation for understanding when and how objects benefit from context sensitivity to improve precision remains underexplored. So we propose a framework featuring a theoretical foundation to explain when and how these objects can benefit from the sensitivity, and also a two-step track approximation for practical use. So let's begin our key insights. We first introduce the point flow graph, which is mainly a constraint directed graph where nodes are pointers and objects, and edges are points to relationships. And point analysis can be seen as a reachability problem on the PFG. So if you can see, for example, in the program below, we have a variable C points to object O, if and only if C is reachable from O on the PFG. And from the view of PFG, we have that in the field-sensitive point analysis, context sensitivity mainly affects objects by replicating their field pointers. So we can basically evaluate the primary effect of an object on analysis precision by check whether its field pointers can successfully distinguish the point flows. So suppose we have a field F of object H, and here we have a PFG snippet. So you can see that a variable V and an instance field H.F and then Z. So the since we are under context insensitivity, the context here are empty. And we also have some objects propagate to first to the variable Y and then the instance field H.F and then Z. So under the corresponding context sensitivity, which mainly replicates the pointers under their contexts. So the same PFG may demonstrate in different potential scenarios, and here we list mainly the 3 representative ones. So let's look at the case 1 first. It has mainly the 2 important structures, which the first which is distinctive flows. So here we have 2-point flows, the one carrying the object O1 and the other one carrying object O2. And also, we have the partial connection before and after the intense field. So these structures are key to separate the distinctive flows. So, and this brings us the preceding improvement. But in contrast, in case 2, while we have the same distinct point flows, we also have a full connection before the instance field. So the 2 distinctive flows merge together after passing through the instance field. And in case 3, we only have 1-point flows, so making the further differentiation actually unnecessary. So while the distinctive flows are easy to follow, you may wonder under what situation will the fully connection happen. So we have a field stone statement of Java corresponding to this PFG snippet, and it has a variable base and field access through its field f and a variable y stone to this field. And by the analysis rules, we have this fully connection happen if and only if the 2 contextual versions of the variable base point to both the 2 contextual objects of object H. So this is actually a very insightful and important property in our framework, but since it's due to its intrinsic complexity, we do not dive into the further details here, and we kindly refer to our paper for full discussion. So we can basically conclude our key insights as an object is procedure relevant only, and if only, under context sensitivity there exist both these 2 key structures involving one of its field pointers. And note that we have fields and pointers actually the same can be seen as the same under object sensitive analysis. So next we only talk about the field operations and without loss of generality. So I'll talk about the framework next. So we basically gave basically given the definition of ground truth objects. So these objects are whose context sensitive treatment actually improves precision on the context sensitivity. But since the direct computation of these objects are infeasible in reality, so we propose some upper bound approximation we define as procedure relevant objects. As you can see, it can be divided with 2 key parts and corresponds directly to our 2 key insights. Also, this definition is defined under context sensitivity, so the direct compute is also infeasible, unfortunately. So we propose some approximation for practical use with the results of context insensitive analysis. And you can see we decompose the definition with 4 subconditions, and each condition is a necessary condition of their corresponding part of procedure relevant objects we defined before. And we also propose a variable flow graph to enable efficient traversal to identify these objects. So in summary, we propose 3 key kinds of objects to deliver both a theoretical foundation and a practical method for applying selective context sensitivity on heap objects. And finally, we'll talk about the implementation and evaluation. So we implemented our tool named Moon upon the Chaoyue framework, and its implementation is publicly available as an open source tool. And since it outputs actually a set of procedure relevant objects, so it can be easily integrated with other static analysis tools. And in the evaluation part, we aim down to 3 key questions. How does moon-guided object-sensitive point analysis compare to the conventional object-sensitive analysis and other sort of alternative techniques? And in Arc 3, we aim down to what's the computational overhead of moon. So to ensure a broad range of evaluation, we selected 30 programs from the benchmarks, and recent studies, and also GitHub. And this table lists the details of our benchmarks. So for answer of VQ1, we compare Moon with the conventional point analysis. So Moon only selects only 1.6% and 2.9% of all the objects as context sensitive for 2-OBJ and 3-OBJ sensitive analysis here. But such small proportion of objects nearly keeps all the analysis precision, namely 99.9% and 99.8% for 2-OBJ and 3-OBJ. And they also bring us extremely high efficiency for 2-OBJ and 3-OBJ, namely 37.2 times and 302%. So for VQ2, we list the details of precision loss and speed up here for also 2-OBJ and both 2-OBJ and 3-OBJ here, and we can conclude that the Moon achieves an outstanding trade-off between analysis precision and analysis efficiency. Also for the RQ1, we also list the time detail of Moon and other selective techniques, and we also can conclude that Moon demonstrates a relatively low overhead comparing to other sort of tactics. So we conclude our work as a selective foundation, a two-step trackable approximation for practical use. And its implementation demonstrates that it can efficiently and effectively identify these procedural objects. And the evaluation demonstrates that Moon achieves an outstanding trade-off between precision and efficiency. And that's all my work. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for the talk, interesting work. I have two questions.
Okay.
One is, your evaluation seems to be on very old da capo benchmarks. Is that the case?
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Your evaluation seems to be on a very old version of da capo benchmarks. Is that the case?
Okay.
Yeah, the table.
Here?
Yeah, these seem to be from 2006. No, you have done it on. So, I mean, there are selected benchmarks from each. Did you do it on all the da capo benchmarks from the latest version?
Since we selected this following the analytical work, and since the wide use of da capo 2006, we also keep the use of it in our paper, and we also include the newest version, newer version of the capo benchmarks to ensure broad range.
Okay, the question I had was because these new benchmarks use a lot of reflection, so I wanted to understand how do you...
reflection, you mean reflection?
Yeah.
Okay, we actually adopted the, if I remember correctly, I adopted the default reflection log generated by a tool.
Yeah, that's probably the standard approach. The second question I have is, the 2 or 3 cases that you showed in your examples, they look quite similar to the zipper work as well. But you yeah, correct.
Okay.
But you show improvements with respect to the zipper work in your comparison. So I could not understand how do these cases capture more than the cases covered by the zipper paper that you have compared with. Is there an example that you have where that kind of work will not capture a particular, will not give equal precision, and your work will lead to more precision?
So you mainly ask about the connection between this and the motivated example?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, they are a little connection. In the presentation, the motivated example serves to illustrate the context sensitivity, and here is mainly serves to illustrate our key insights. So. It might be a little hard for you to directly see the connection between, so we can talk about this offline.
Sure. Sounds
Thank
good.
you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's thank the speaker.
Oh, sorry. Could you go?
Go ahead with the question, please, and request the next speaker to.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Send it.
Okay. I was going to ask you to go back to your slide on precision, but I'm afraid that's no longer possible then. But you compared precision compared to a conventional approach with context sensitivity. And the precision of your approach was quite similar. I wonder how it compares to a completely context-insensitive approach. Do you also have any number?
You mean compare what? Compare context insensitivity with?
With your approach, like the conventional approach, I think in your charts was a fully context-sensitive one.
Oh, okay.
And the precision was quite high in your approach as well, selecting only 2% or
Yes.
3%
Yes.
of objects for context sensitivity. I wonder just how much precision you would get if you would select 0% basically of context sensitivity if you do a completely context insensitive analysis.
Actually, I have to clear it up.
Sorry, let's take a question offline.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, thanks.